Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is all about how to deal with mean girls. So let's get on with the video. Okay, so everybody has to deal with mean girls. They are everywhere. And unfortunately they are not a type of person you can escape, because you always have that mean person there. Now, when you deal with mean girls, they often comment on your appearance and things like that. But that's just because they crave attention and they feel a bit insecure about themselves. So you need to take that into account when dealing with them. And I would say avoidance is key if you have a lot of issues when you look in the mirror. So if you're very insecure about the way you look, the way you talk, things like that, avoidance is key, but you can't always avoid them. So when you're around them, best thing to do is ignore them. Never rise to them. So when they start saying things about you, just don't give them what they want by responding. There are other methods of dealing with it. So if you go to a school where you're allowed to use your phone, you can subtly record the transaction where they're being horrible to then show to a teacher, who can then relay the repercussions. But if you don't go to a school where you can do exactly that, then the best bet to do is go to a teacher in confidence and ask them to leave your name out and explain that these girls are picking on you. Now, honestly, that can go greatly, but sometimes teachers put their feet in it and use your name, and that causes a lot more problems for you. So you need to be aware of that. But it is best to tell an adult. And another thing to do is to remember you are perfect the way you are. You don't have to change the way you look, the way you act, or any of that to fit in with them. Now, if you have a close-knit group of friends, you shouldn't worry about bullies, because they'll support you. And honestly, it's better to have 3 real friends to 26 fake friends, because once you leave secondary school, you probably will never see them again. But with your real friends, you should see them again, and that's great. But obviously, it's a lot different when you're in school. And honestly, I know how awful it feels. But you need to keep your cool. Because when you lash back, you'll get into more trouble, because they'll instantly go tell, or they'll make it worse. Now, honestly, if they're physically hurting you, you should report it straight away. If they're just verbally hurting you, you should report it, but you should also ignore it, which sounds completely two sides of a coin. So you should report it to a teacher or a parent or someone, and when they do it to you, just ignore them, but obviously you've told an adult so they can help. But if you're in a workplace and there's mean girls, it's kind of different. You should ignore them and take whatever they say with a pinch of salt. You can't exactly avoid them because you work with them, but if you have close work friends, you could ask them why they're being mean, because sometimes you find they're being mean because they're having a tough time at home, or they feel very down because they've lost a family member or something. And obviously, once you find that out, you understand they're just trying to let off steam, but they're not letting it off the right way. So you could suggest a better way to let off steam, like go to a boxing club and do some punching on the giant, punch bag, that's it. And I know for a lot of people, when they get upset and distraught, doing that really helps, or going to the gym and running it off and things like that. So it is something that could help. But if you've been in the same situation as them, if you can get them to open up to you, you can kind of help them through it. But if there is no valid reason for it, then you'd flag it to a superior. If it happens for a while, like if it's just happened for one day and then the next day they're all nice and friendly, you don't have to flag it to a superior. But if they're horrible for multiple days in a row, then you should. And when you do, you may find that other people have as well, and it's not just you who is getting hurt by this person, and that could lead to repercussions on their behalf. But you shouldn't have to worry about that, because they've made the decision to be unkind, and you have no control over that. So you shouldn't worry yourself with what happens next with them. And obviously, one thing you need to remember: mean people won't get as far as a nice person, because more people like you if you're nice, which means networking is easier, which means you're more likely to get a job and keep it, and you're more likely to progress. So remember that the next time you think, oh, she looks stupid, because you could go, hey, excuse me, I think you should do this with what you're wearing, not this, because it looks a bit silly and I don't want you to be picked on. Because there's a video on YouTube about girls that have bled through on their period and walked around. And some girls will laugh at them and say it's stupid and ridiculous. But you could go out of your way, instead of being mean or feeling bad for them and doing nothing, you could go over there, take your jacket off, tie it around their waist and go, hey, let's go into a shop, get you a new pair of trousers and sort you out because you've bled through, and let her know. And obviously be supportive. You may not know her, but what if you bled through on your period? You'd be distraught, you'd be in tears. So having someone there is something that's helpful. And as long as you always show kindness to people, even the mean ones, they'll slowly soften up. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like clay. The more you play with it, the softer it gets, and the stronger your hands get. And you get stronger by being able to cope with all the horrible things people may say, because horrible words will always be a part of life. And people forget words hurt way more than actions, because an action you can heal from. A word will always play in your mind. So you get strong in that sense. And the people that hurt you are the clay, and they soften up because you're stronger than them. And they learn that they can't hurt you. And it just makes your life easier, and it makes them easier to learn that sometimes being horrible isn't necessarily what needs to be done, and it kind of helps mould them into a better person. And obviously that is essential in life, because everybody needs moulding into better people, because you'll never be a perfect person. The people around you are constantly moulding you into a better person. And I'll admit it, in secondary school I was shy. I let people walk all over me. And then, due to instances with a friend, who is no longer my friend, and instances with my mum and her illness, I changed. And it was a drastic change. I went from being a very talkative, bubbly person to quiet, closed off. And then when I met an awesome group of friends, I became quite an outgoing person. Now, I'm not outgoing in the sense of I'll go out every day, but I'm outgoing in the sense I will talk to people and happily talk to strangers and bond with people, and I will push myself to my limits. And honestly, I'm grateful for that, because I've become so much better than I was before, because my friends are actually my friends. I don't rely on other people to make my friends anymore. I don't make one friend and then follow them. Okay, I have like 3 friends, but, well, I have more than 3 friends, I have like 5, but I have 3 friends I see regularly. I made one of them all on my own. The other one I made at a summer club. And then with my other 3 friends, one I made because I became friends with their brother. One I made because I bugged her so much in year 4 and she became my friend. Poor Leah. And then one I made because I followed someone and joined a games club. And honestly, those are my real life friends, not my online friends. That's a whole long list. But the ones I've made recently, so one I made in the past year, and the one I made in the past year, I made her all on my own. And yes, we kind of jointly made another friend in our class, like, so we're like a little class bubble kind of thing, and it's the 3 of us, but it was a joint effort to get her to open up, because both of us were kind of afraid of her at first. And she's like, yeah, many people tell me that they're scared of me when they first meet me. And some people it is just that. Some people just appear scary. Like, lots of people look at me and they think I'm a bit strange, because one day I'll have red and pink hair, or the next I'll have blue and pink, or brown hair. My hair changes so often. I know one of my old regulars when I worked at Costa used to always comment on my rainbow coloured hair, because I always changed my hair so much, it was a rainbow. And obviously he meant it in a nice way, but some people would take that as an insult. I take that as a compliment, because it just shows I stand out. So you just need to know sometimes the way you portray a sentence may appear different to how they mean it. So remember that the next time you deal with someone who you think is being horrible about you, but could just be actually complimenting you. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. I will see you all on Tuesday. Glad to be back recording, so happy. Bye guys!